Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There's no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no? Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid, right? Like, it's stupid. It's not 60% dominant. It's like 96% or 95% dominant, right? The thing, and you compare it as a crypto asset to a like kind of proof of work crypto network, right?
I know that you can feel the pulse, and it's crypto's what you want. Look, fast to have in 6 to 12 months, can you imagine? That's just a sign of our passion to have Pulse Bitcoin be the attraction to switch to crypto. Cause you all know the Pulse got your back from the get-go. 1-to-1 versions of the coin you need. Pulse Bitcoin runs that deep. You can feel the pulse. You can feel the pulse. I know that you can feel the pulse. 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 I know that you can feel the pulse. And it's crypto's what you want. I know it seems scary, and you've been so wary. And Bitcoin ain't cheap, but let the pulse speak. Gotta thank Gunther for the opportunity to bring you this pulse in your time of need. You can feel the pulse. You can feel the pulse. I know that you can.
Yo, we're live. Okay,
Hey,
welcome to our live viewers. How's it going, Sean? You all right?
I'm good, Sammy. How are you? Yeah.
Yes, I want to welcome everyone in. Thanks for joining us every Saturday, same time. Second episode of the Pulse Bitcoin live stream, the official channel for the multi-token ecosystem. Today, we're going to talk about why Pulse Bitcoin is the better Bitcoin. So we're going to trigger some Bitcoiners there, maybe, if they're watching, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted today to be joined by my buddy, that side, host Sean. We've got Vin Luck in the green room, and later on we got Rags to Riches, who's sitting back there in the green room. We're going to cover this week's data, the charts, see what's changed in the past week on the technical side. And as always, you can find all the information you need in the description below. There's links to the new Facebook group. One of our admins has set up. Some good onboarding going on there. We've got our Telegram group, which has a voice chat running almost 24 hours a day these days. Pepe's usually in there, and some other great guys are in there. So if you've got any questions, you can jump in there. There's always people that are going to help. We've got links below to the new LinkedIn group for all you business kind of heads in there. And, of course, the Pulse Doge Instagram account. Someone's talking about setting up a Pulse Bitcoin Instagram. That would be interesting. If you want to make a donation to help us upgrade our shitty stuff we got here, you know, bad audio and all that, you can donate. There's some links down there. And Sean, I think we got a giveaway, right? First giveaway.
That's correct. Yeah. You know, I also wanted to give a shout out to everyone that's in the room. We got Hex McKenzie. We got Iceman. Thanks for being here. P Icon, Crypto Force, Daisy India, Pulse Bitcoin Miner. Life is good. Thank you guys for all joining. Andre, AL Carstar. Thanks, guys. And about the giveaway. So it's now a 42 ASIC token giveaway. We're kind of got everyone to help us out. So we got 42 ASIC token giveaway. You got to be subscribed to the channel. And the second thing you need to do is make a Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram post linking this channel with why people should follow, and post that link to the post in the comment section below. and remember to use the PulseBitcoin hashtag. So I'll be sending this to my Twitter. So if you want to keep those details there, you'll see it. But pretty much that's what you have to do. Next week, we're going to use an automatic comment selector live and select the winner.
Yeah, so get involved. Get involved. At this point, we want to introduce Vin Luck. You know him and love him. OG crypto miner. Let's get him in here. Vin Luck, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Good to see you again.
Hey, Vin.
Yeah, good to see you again, man.
Man.
It was a blast last week, huh? On the
that was a good time.
review
of the year. It was literally New Year's turning when we got on. It was New Year's for me, so it was good. it was real good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to just quickly go over the stats and of the charts this week, and then we'll bring in our guest host, Rags to Riches. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's a bit of a legend in the community.
Brandon's awesome.
But yes, let's go over the charts, eh? If I can pull that up. Give me a second, guys. A bit of a boomer here. There we go. Present. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So we're on the daily chart here. So this is a Pulse Doge. We're on this strong trend line up, right? Kind of maintaining that. We had a little dip down here. We touched this kind of area here. And we've got some bullish divergence going on, which looks good on the RSI. So what a lot of people don't know is we've had over 55% of those tokens burn. So, not a lot of new players coming in. We had 16,000 wallets. We hit 16,000 wallets of this coin. I'm not sure where we're at now. We'll have to check that out later, but we're going strong on that. Bear in mind, a lot of people coming into this project aren't really participating in this, but you're seeing a lot of people who love this thing and they're holding on to it. They're waiting for this next bull run. So it's cheap. I'd say grab some of it if you like meme coins. You can look at the price targets there. I mean, we all know in these early charts, price targets don't mean much, but just look at those sexy price targets there. We'll move on to ASIC. ASIC is your basic software miner. So you can buy ASIC on Uniswap. Let's get out the banner there, Sean. We've got one here. There you go. So you can buy PulseBitcoin at USDC PLSB. You can buy the ASIC token at USDC ASIC. That sends you to CowSwap. So that's a good place to buy it. We did bull flag there. We did another bull flag. And now we're kind of consolidating. We got the Hex conference coming out soon. Richard Hart speaking on Monday. So some money's been sitting on the side there waiting for that. But it looks like we're getting some good accumulation here. I personally think we're probably going to break up here. But we'll see. If we do take
it's a healthy start. It's a
healthy start. Do you know what? If we break up from this, we got some beautiful targets up here. If we break down, then do you know what? I'll get rid of this. A fantastic buying opportunity. I mean, I think there's going to be so many buy orders down there. But we had a bit of resistance there, which I think is lowered now. If you look at the, I'll refresh this because this is probably a bit old. But if we go to the liquidity pool here, let's see what's going on there because it changes all the time. Okay, it's changed a little bit, but there's not too much liquidity there. You've got 3,000, 4,000, 4,000. There's about 15,000 tokens there before or above $3. Not much. So that's ready to pop. So there's a speculation there. We've got some new onboards coming on. Let's go to the PulseBitcoin chart.
Well, real quick. Go back.
Let's go back there. Yep.
Look at the relative strength. Look how strong the relative strength has been.
Should we go to 4 hour? Let's go 4 hour.
Yeah, go to the 4 hour, even the 4 hour or the daily. Everything is really just backing and filling here. This is a really healthy trade, right? It's not over volatile. You're not seeing any like insane looking swings. It's filling out a pendant. It's backing and filling in a very healthy manner. And if you get any dip, it's going to be one of those like just, Judas Wicks. It's going to be one of those opportunities that are going to be supported. It may go down and test. It may go down and
Well,
try
I
to
think on that point, right? Let's say we do break down. Let's look at that 200-day moving average coming up.
yeah,
right?
hit the 200. Put
Look at
everything you
that. So
can
we're
right
at
there.
$2.27. That's going to get eaten up. I think we'll bounce off there
And
easy.
hit the market buy. Don't go limit anything on matcha or anything like that. You're looking for timing and you're pressing the button at that point.
Yeah. And you mentioned the stochastics. It's something I don't really look at. I always rely on the RSI and I look at the MACD. And because Vin was talking on the pre-show about the stochastic, it's really oversold there, isn't it? Well, pretty oversold there.
Well, yeah, I mean it is, and even if you look at the daily chart, you'll see between the strength and the RSI and how it's getting oversold here, and it's just holding up. The whole thing's holding strong, right? I look at this like I was saying earlier. In the '90s, I built the whole business on buying Dell Computer, and I was buying it when it was breaking down. Every time it broke down is when we had our buy targets. All of our systems said to sell because it was technically breaking down, but we knew what was actually happening to the ecosystem of what computers were doing to the economy, and that's when we wanted to buy. So, it was only those moments that we were actually taking our big positions, and for us, it's like, yeah, we can all be a big TA. We can analyze the charts and stuff, and we can try to make predictions, and we can say it looks like it's going here. But what we were doing back then, when we were talking about pure economic disruption and technology disruption, which was what ASIC is.
We'll get into that, Vin. We'll get into that.
Yeah. We were just waiting for that breakdown moment. So if we see any kind of market correction, it's going to be like an opportunity. It's just an opportunity right now is what it is.
Well, on that point, let's go to the PLSB chart, and we'll be done with the technical soon. We'll bring in our special guest and talking about why we think PulseBitcoin is the better Bitcoin. But let's just finish this with our chart analysis because people like to see what's happened during the week. So PulseBitcoin, we're looking at the daily chart now. We're kind of still going down in this channel. We touched down here. This big wick down was mainly because we had a big whale, and he seemed to be selling his PulseBitcoin, and he was transferring over to ASIC. So we saw a great buying opportunity. I'm not sure if some of you guys in the chat managed to grab some of this. I grabbed some really nice PulseBitcoin down here. So we'll see what happens there. But my girlfriend, actually, she mentioned something. And I said, I'm going to mention on the live show. She said, all this price depreciation here we're seeing in the PulseBitcoin right now. She said it reminds her of the ASIC thing we had back here. I'll show you here. Back here, do you remember this? We had this downward channel going on, right? And everyone was getting all bummed out about, this ain't working. It's all going down with this downward channel. And then the smart ones, we scooped up that ASIC at $1 down to 80 cents. And now we're 3-4x up. So we've got this halvening coming up. We're getting adoption going up. When ASIC pops, if it does pop, what the hell do you think is going to happen? We got the 618 up here. I think you'll see an easy breakout. So all I'd say is don't sign off PulseBitcoin. It's not being given its due at the moment. It's being seen as a dump token, which I think is very foolish. So let's go quickly to have a look at the Bitcoin chart. Obviously, sorry, do you want to say something there, Vin?
On PulseBitcoin. So with something like this, especially in a smaller cap, right? Just before the big opportunity actually plays out, right, where the big move actually plays out, the big opportunity comes in. So literally just before you see the run, you're going to see blood.
Yeah.
It's just in everything. It's the way it all trades, right? So it's like I'm honestly looking for that chart to wick down like ASIC did before from 80 cents to 50 cents for a half a day. And it was an opportunity if you were awake and watching. And if not, you woke up and you were like, "Oh my God, it's like $1.20, $1.30, and it's going up," And that's what it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, no financial advice. We're just investors giving our perspective, right?
In my opinion.
But yeah, I think I was going to just show kind of again one more time. We'll reiterate this. Pulse Doge launched on the 20th of April. This is the original OG Bitcoin chart we're looking at here on the daily. This first period is when Pulse Dogecoin launched, and then you had ASIC launch, and then you had PLSB launch. So, let's just remember, guys, we are in a brutal bear market right now. This is the situation of the macro in the crypto space. We're not doing too badly. We're keeping our head above water. As long as we keep onboarding, I think we can look at continuing this price appreciation. And on that note, unless anyone else wants to bring anything else up, I think we should introduce our special guest.
Bring him.
Yeah.
As usual.
So I'm sure you guys know Rags to Riches. You can find him on YouTube. Great stream, great information. Let me bring on Brandon. And hey, welcome to the stream.
What's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Dude, how's life, everybody? You guys good? Feeling good today?
Do you know what?
Feeling good.
The charts are making us feel good. To be honest, we seem to be doing all right at the moment, so we're pretty happy.
You guys have people who care about the project, and that's important. And I think that's reflected on the chart as well. And you're building a community very rapidly, so that's exciting.
Hectic Queen, good
100%.
shout. Yeah, so Rags, what have you been up to, man? How's it been? We saw a couple of your videos, just some cool video the other day about how to look for a good what to look for in a new coin, right? You did a video about that. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, what to look for in a new coin, what to expect at launch. The past 72 hours, Crypto Heartbeat and I we quietly launched our Texan token as well. So we've been all tied up in that and answering questions about that. So been very busy, but it's been very exciting, and it's cool to kind of see different communities coalesce around each other. And I'm really looking forward to the next couple years here. So just creating videos and working hard, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
That's
Brandon,
awesome.
do you want to talk a little bit about Texan token?
Yeah, Texan token is it's an endowment token, the world's first endowment token. We partnered with a 501c4 nonprofit in Texas that's focused on Texas independence. They have about 435,000 members, and we gave them a smart contract to be able to onboard folks into Pulse Chain, into crypto in general. And these are mostly no coiners, probably 95%. So we're just working hard to help freedom and sovereignty throughout the world. The tokenomics are simple, tokenomics are strong, and very excited here.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's I think what you guys are doing over there is what we're all about. I know, obviously, you jumped on with us and you shared some space with us on Hex Token Discord channel, and it was fantastic hosting you guys. I think your morals in the right place, and I think it's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I didn't want to sit around my whole life and do nothing. So now we're doing something. We're putting our money where our mouth is, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to be respectful of your channel, and I love what you guys are doing. I think I've been one of the first proponents of what you guys were doing. Made a couple cool videos, and I'm really excited to kind of dive in and talk about what you guys have going on.
Yeah, of course. I'm definitely.
So
yeah,
Sean,
100%.
Let people know what the main theme of today is why PulseBitcoin is the better Bitcoin, right?
100%. Yeah. So when it comes down to it, the basics are that it's faster, it's more secure, it's non-polluting software mining, not using hardware, it's energy efficient, highly scalable, DeFi compatible. Right now, anyone that's on Ethereum who would like a Bitcoin might migrate to Wrap Bitcoin, which is a promise token. It creates centralization. And with PulseBitcoin, it is a fresh new contract that everyone has 2011 style entry into. And that's the basics when it comes down to it. Now, we can go into more detail. I personally came from like a mining background. I set up crypto mining rigs and other things like that. A lot of people already know, but I always look at, what's happening right now. And a huge thing that I noticed is the Canadian government, where I'm located at, is cracking down on Bitcoin mining. On Bitcoin Magazine, they just posted an article a couple days ago.
Yeah, load that up. You showed it to me earlier. It's interesting. We saw it earlier before with New York, didn't we? We saw the state of New York kind of making moves where they were talking about stopping proof of work mining. I think we're going to see a shift towards that politically with all this kind of green bullshit. We're seeing a move towards shutting down anything which is using electricity. You know, even if you're pro-green or anti-green, electricity costs are definitely going up. That's the thing. It's no longer profitable to be mining using electricity, right? So that's why we're seeing it all move over to places where electricity is cheap.
And even like Brandon said in his one video that he had about the best way to how to mine cryptocurrency, is a 7-minute video that you should check out on his channel, Rags to Riches, in regards to the cost of Bitcoin mining, the everyday person thinking of getting into it, the overhead, the loss of value of those machines, and how it's detrimental to our environment. So, and it's true, when it comes down to it, these machines are a waste of resources because they lose efficiency and they go down. They literally become paperweights over time. They waste the electricity. Personally, in my industry that I work in, I see a lot of residential and commercial heating and cooling going to heat pumps. So we're getting away from natural gas, other things like that. And that's going to put another demand on strain onto the electrical grid, where the government is going to step back and say, do we really need to allocate this much energy to mine crypto when there's other options out there that don't require it? And so, I think there will be
Pepe always says, Pepe, I'm sure everyone knows him, is one of our community leaders in PulseBitcoin. And he always has a great saying. He always says, it's a hockey term. It's like you don't play where the puck is, you move to where the puck's going to be. And I think we're all seeing this shift in governments, right? Energy is expensive, and they're looking to crack down. We see it in government legislation all the time in the UK. They're trying to lower people's emissions. They're trying to do everything they can to get people to use less energy. So you can guarantee 100% they're going to crack down on this sort of stuff. So if you think traditional mining is lasting long, then you're in dream world. It's been outsourced to the third world, and that in itself has its own problems. Someone made a really interesting post earlier in the PulseBitcoin chat about they used to be a Bitcoin miner, and then their Bitcoin mining company moved from the US over to parts of Africa where it was cheaper. But then they don't count in the thing of floods, of attacks, of all this other sort of negative externalities. So get with the program, try and see what's coming. That's what investing is all about, right? Is get ahead of the curve.
Yeah, there's an overlying narrative here that we need to talk about, especially when it comes to energy in general. And I want to say this first and foremost, regardless of PulseBitcoin or Bitcoin, governments around the world are creating this scarcity. Okay, they are restricting energy. They are restricting access to energy in the name of climate control, essentially, and people control. So how do they do that? Well, let's look back at Russia when they started that war with Ukraine. There were restrictions on imports and exports dealing with Russia whatsoever, and that caused a massive energy crisis in Europe. So what happens? All the top banks in Europe, instead of lending out money to people who could pull energy out of the earth, they did a halt. They stopped it. Okay, they wanted to stop all sorts of companies who would pull fossil fuels out of the ground, even at the detriment of the people in Europe who are in the process right now of being extremely cold in some places. They don't care. There's a huge worldwide movement of control, and they're using this narrative of climate change to restrict and destroy anything out there that has anything to do with energy. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, for example, do I believe that there is a true energy shortage? Hell no, there isn't. I believe that there's a restriction to the access of credit to be able to pull it out of the earth, and I think they're using that to control everybody. So the problem with Bitcoin, in my mind, is that if anybody goes against the narrative and they profit or they're successful because of it, i.e., Bitcoin, for example, they are going to crush it. So just being in Bitcoin is a major issue for many people. Now, you might say, well, they're going green and they've got geothermal and all the Bitcoin folks are going to be guys. It's not about that. It's not about energy. It's about control. They have a narrative. They're going to latch onto it, and they are going to destroy Bitcoin in that way.
Yeah.
I wanted to make that known. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, they were trying to bring that whole energy narrative of who, when, and will and won't, fund companies. When AOC asked Jamie Dimon if he would stop giving money to the oil drillers, and he's like, absolutely not. It'll be to the detriment of his
God,
country.
I loved that. I loved when he said that too.
Right? I mean, he knew it. He just shoved it right in her face, and it was pure politics of her even asking that question, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about. But he said it right. It would be to the detriment of this country, and it's nonsense. And you see what's happening now in Europe, and it's something that is really a big power grab. But here's the thing: the governments will overreach. They always have, and they always will.
Sure.
And what will happen now when it comes to if they, put some kind of regulation on hardware mining, the whole entire industry is going to disrupt and come into the Web3 software ASIC mining that doesn't really, there's no energy bill, there's no utility. The balance sheet looks like this instead of like this. And that's why I'm saying, like, we all got to start calling the CEOs of these mining companies, of these crypto mining companies, and say, hey, have you heard about the Bitcoin upgrade and how they're software mining now? Because everything's been upgraded and they probably don't even know about it yet. So it's just like asking them, or their investor relations people, like, have you guys heard about this yet? And just kind of see where it goes. And if we all kind of do it, we might help to push the narrative along a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, and what's the problem with Bitcoin? The problem with Bitcoin is it's touted and parroted by the people at the top that Bitcoin is the most decentralized option out there, when in reality, compared to when Bitcoin launched compared to now, it's completely the opposite. Okay, they're trying to suck people in with this narrative.
Inflation hedge.
Yeah, and so you go back to like the 2008 financial crisis, and banks were bailed out. The Federal Reserve decided they'd bail the banks out and use quantitative easing, which is they're pumping money into the economy and inflating the money supply. And that wasn't good for anybody, because what's that do? That creates bubbles. And what did bubbles do? Bubbles pop. And we had that. So, first and foremost, taxpayers were upset back then that they had no say in the Federal Reserve kind of using tax dollars to bail out the failed banking business. The Bitcoin thought experiment was born out of necessity back then. The Bitcoin white paper plainly stated that we have a need for a trustless system. Yeah. Now, go ahead.
No, so I was just saying, most people that trade Bitcoin these days, right? So what was crypto created for? It was a hedge against the financial system. Mm-hmm. So if you look at all the original OGs that got into Bitcoin, it was a way to trade stuff anonymously online. It was a way to have your money in a space outside of the financial system. But now that's gone. Now big money has moved into crypto.
Yep.
Big money, and it's mainly moved into Bitcoin. A lot of these financial companies, they can't just go and buy a shitcoin, but they can definitely buy Bitcoin. They can do it for Grayscale Bitcoin. They can do it for these ETFs, or Bin Luck will know more than I would. But that's what we're seeing now, guys. I mean, fair enough. Let's say Bitcoin does an RH and goes down to 11K. Great, you might buy it then. You might see it go up to 150K. What, you make a 10x?
They launched that ETF. They launched that ETF in the fall of last year. You know where fucking Bitcoin was? 65,000.
But what I'm saying is, what is Bitcoin supposed to be? So now, Bitcoin has got so much old money. When I say old money, I mean institutional money in it now. So it takes so much for it to move. So let's just talk about price appreciation. You've got maybe a 10x for Bitcoin. You've probably got 15, 20x for Ethereum on the next run. But with this thing, right, this is what Bitcoin was supposed to be, peer-to-peer, DeFi. So this is Bitcoin with true DeFi. It's traded from person to person. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on that point. I just think it's a good point that needs to be mentioned.
Dude, absolutely. And when you look at the Satoshi white paper, he talks about a term. He says honest nodes. Okay, so Bitcoin had an initial design to be open and accessible to anyone. So I'm going to kind of talk about what I like about PulseBitcoin here.
Yeah, go ahead.
You could mine Bitcoin from your computer back then. And Richard says that he did it, and some other people said that they did it. As time went on, those GPUs that were created that made Bitcoin, so more GPUs got on the network. It made the network more secure by increasing like the total hash rate. But with higher security, the problem arose that you had like a higher barrier to entry as well. So people with large sums of money, they began taking over the hash rate as time went on because it got more difficult. You had to have more financial energy to become a part of this. So it pushed out a lot of the small people because there was no point, because they had to upgrade their hardware. They had to do all these things. So it went initially from decentralized to centralized very, very quickly. But you know what? None of the people who were participating in Bitcoin ever talked about that. Why? They wanted to pump their own bags. So they kept that quiet, and they lied to the public about how awesome Bitcoin was. And it was a sham, and it was a shame, and that continues to this day. So as time went on, the market side of Bitcoin had a concentration of capital in a very, very small amount of wallets. But the tech side of Bitcoin saw a massive concentration of hash power as well. Now, I did a stream a while back, and they were talking about 0.1% of mining companies hold around 50% of all the hash rate on the Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
Is that decentralized?
We're seeing it with Ethereum now as well, right?
Yeah, and that was published on fortune.com. I hopped into Twitter space. Sometimes I just hop into Twitter space with these Bitcoin bros to cut my teeth a little bit. Ooh, they didn't like that.
Oh, they don't like it. They
didn't like it. They chewed me up. Dude, I got chewed up and spit out.
It's like getting into Bitcoin now. It's like buying AOL. You know, you're going, oh, I want to get into something fresh. You know, it's these guys are dinosaurs. You know, they're resting on their laurels.
Sammy, you see that picture that I sent you with me in the mining rig? You can put that up there if you want. Everything we were mining, we were selling.
Up. Yeah.
Everything we were mining, we were selling. I'm telling you, because the cost, everything that was going on, it was shareholder response. It was all the above. We were like no different than we were digging gold out of the ground, and we were selling it. And now they were like 6 or 7, I forgot, of those rows, and we were selling, man. Like everyone was just, and that was, you know, in 17, and the market was running, and we were just selling. And it blew up from there. And what do you think happened? Right? Like, just there's a point when it just doesn't work anymore. And all of those rigs now, they're worth a big goose egg. This month.
I've got a bunch of Antminer S9s. 14.5 terahash in my basement, and they're worthless. They're paperweights.
Exactly. 2018 models, right?
yeah, dude.
It's the opportunity cost, right? The opportunity cost is a really, really important word. Whether you're you've never owned crypto before, you've probably heard that term, whether it's in business or economics or whatever. What else could you do with your money otherwise? Where else could it be most effective, most efficient? You know, the opportunity cost is just, why would you hardware mine anything when that's going like this and ASIC is going like this? It just it doesn't make sense to do anything else. Like, this is the only place that any mining company or mining initiative wants to be. It's literally the internet of the 90s. It's Dell computer completely changing the way business is ran, going from paper to computer. It's completely the same thing. And that's what the internet, the crypto is in general. But in the mining industry, with what's happening with ASIC right now, everyone's going to realize what ASIC is, and they're going to wind up gravitating. So everyone here listening now, you have no idea. You're a time traveler. You're literally able to go back in time right now, and you're a part of something that you'll realize in a couple of years from now. In my personal opinion, you're very, very lucky.
Yeah, and why would people? So you have the virtual mining now. So you have some guy somewhere that has a bunch of miners, and he's renting out hash power to
In a
people.
cloud, he says, go throw it into the cloud, and I'll link you up to it.
Right.
But the hard rig is still there.
Isn't that what you're doing with ASICs? And how could people possibly, talk trash about ASICs? Because this way, you get to keep it. You get to keep the middleman fees.
If you buy an ASIC miner, a hardware, an old school ASIC miner, right? You buy that. That's not appreciating in value. That's depreciating.
That's what I'm saying. It's going down like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And an ASIC miner, you're seeing that's done a 4x. That's done a 4x in the first mining. We're not even through the first mining halving, and you've done a 3-4x, right? And
Yeah.
that's only going to go up, and then that might go up so high where people start going, do you know what? It's a better deal to buy PulseBitcoin than to buy that. But this is a depreciating asset. There's a limited supply of this stuff. A good example was a few years ago. I remember during the lockdown, my friend, he's a bit of a computer geek, and I like to game every now and then. So I like to buy or build a gaming computer. So I get in touch with my buddy, and he helps me build a computer every eight years or so. Mm-hmm. And I went to look at buying a graphics card, and the price of it was skyrocketed so much. It was ridiculous, So the first time you saw a bit of hardware actually go up. But generally, the price of a bit of hardware is going down. It's not going up. And now with all the negative externalities of the increase of energy, if you're mining the old way through proof of work, then I'm sorry, you're not with the program. You're going to lose. This next bull market is all about DeFi. It's all about proof of stake. It's the way things are going. Get with the times and make money. And
it goes back. You just said making money, right? So
let's cut the shit. That's what this is all about, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a big portion of it, right? So how are Bitcoiners able to manipulate the hive mind of the world to say that Bitcoin's awesome? Well, they've shifted their narrative. So one thing that they do say, you can go in any one of these Twitter spaces with these Bitcoin bros. They say that Bitcoin has outreturned every asset on earth, which is a lie. But the narrative they create, it's about the principle of holding Bitcoin and falling in line with saving the world. That's what it is. That's how they're able to sucker people in, because it's about saving the world. Just like climate change is about saving the world. Just like it's all the same stuff here. So they've got bags to pump. Everything else is seen as a threat. You guys have heard how much vitriol they have there. So they have to create that narrative to get new people in the network, and they turn it into a moral argument instead of a financial or mathematical narrative. Now, there's certainly a moral argument. I'll say this in terms of, if you compare Bitcoin to the Federal Reserve, Bitcoin is better than the Federal Reserve. We all know that.
Yeah.
I just wish they would be genuine, and I wish they would be honest and not crap on everybody else in DeFi. With their moral superiority, which is garbage. They can't compete in a battlefield of ideas when it comes to their tokens. So they got to resort to ad hominem. That's what happens.
Well, DeFi really, what we're seeing here is DeFi is the only real crypto. If you're not doing DeFi, I'm sorry, but you're not really in crypto. You're in a kindergarten. It's called a controlled. Was it called a limited hangout? You're in a limited hangout.
Yeah.
So most people that got into Bitcoin, they said fuck the banks. They saw the 2007 crash. They saw what happened in Cyprus. They saw what happened in some countries in the Middle East where you have $100,000 in your account and they only let you take out $3,000, right? So people said fuck that. I want to take my money out there and go into Bitcoin. Well, the World Economic Forum and all the big investors, they're not stupid. They saw that. So what did? They started investing into things like Coinbase. They started investing into USDC with companies like Circle. So don't be fooled. They're not stupid. They're coming after your crypto. So the only way around this is privacy coins and DeFi. So the next bull market will be dominated by DeFi. People that take control of their own money, take self-custody. It's the same way as people buy gold to offset against the market. Now that's been manipulated. I'm sure Vin Luck could go into a big diatribe about how the price of gold and silver for the first time during this economic crisis has not gone up but gone down. That's controlled. So the powers that be are going to try and fight against you as an independent person protecting your wealth. That's just the way it's going to go. And who knows what's going to happen with these centralized digital currencies. Perhaps Ethereum will be onboarded, perhaps it'll be a threat. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to just make everyone aware of the threats from government and from scammers. There's threats everywhere. I think everyone in this room, I mean, when I first started in crypto, I lost $10,000 like that from scam artists, from bad tokenomics, just from getting involved in the bad things. So if we can help you guys who are just getting started off, just skip some of that scamminess, then we're doing something, right? We're doing something.
Yeah. Can you imagine being a core developer of Bitcoin, realizing that the code is trash, and also realizing that the technological prowess of hackers and the sophistication of hackers are only going to get exponentially better over time? And it's like you're sitting on a ticking time bomb here. When people start to figure out better ways to manipulate and to exploit code. And this is also something that I like about PulseBitcoin better. It's the code is compartmentalized. If something were to break, you can pull that section out, you can fix it and put it back in. With Bitcoin, if you pull that section out, the whole tower falls.
Yeah, you've got to roll back the whole blockchain.
And because if they fix one thing, they're going to break 5 things. And
here's a really great example of how they are. You guys may have seen this tweet feed, but that Australian guy, Satoshi Stacko, whatever, and we're having this thing, and I'm like, he makes some comment about Bitcoin. I'm like, yeah, but aren't you doing this because it's just it's the upgrade and all that? And he's like, what, whatever. And then we had this back and forth, and I'm like, dude, it's like an archaic dinosaur technology. It's 13, 14 years old. What's going on? Why? I don't understand. You're a smart guy. Like, why aren't you getting with the program? This thing's been updated, man. And then he sends me on Twitter a picture of a kid with an old Polaroid camera taking a snapshot, a picture, and it's like a GIF, and you see the thing, the paper picture coming out over and over again. I'm like, dude, you just subconsciously proved my point. You showed me archaic old dinosaur technology, man. Like you're subconsciously doing it. They're all like that. It was hysterical when he did that. He didn't even know he did it. I said, thank you for just basically like making my case, man. I mean, you can't pull the rug out from someone's, like they have dedicated, they've made this statement. This is who they are. And it's sometimes you just can't pull the rug of life.
Guys, we had a question from the chat. Do you mind if we pull that up? So if anyone wants to answer this, it's from 2 Satoshis. I'll read it out. Can someone clarify to me if ASIC token is equivalent to ASIC miners in the real world, in the sense that no other dev can fork it and create another 22 million of the same token to mine another token?
So two Satoshis, I think that he's a Bitcoin maxi moonlighting as a PulseBitcoin person, because I've seen a couple of his questions here. So I'm gonna talk to you about this. Yes, you can fork code. No, you can't fork a community. Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
We saw that with the ETH Fair and the old, right?
Yeah. Now, and you scroll down a little bit. 2 Satoshi says, "Isn't the code immutable? How can it be changed?" Let me ask you something.
You want me to go to the next comment you made? Or
I'm looking at it. I'm just kind of looking as we go down. Like, how is it scarce that the contract can be forked? Are we expecting other devs to utilize the same token? Okay, let me ask you this. How is Bitcoin scarce if PulseBitcoin was able to fork the idea? I can turn that back on you. It's the community. All right. So if you create a better something and give people another option that's better, all you have to do is throw your hands up and let the people decide for themselves. And they're going to go to the path of least resistance and most benefit to them. And he talks about the immutability of the code. Let me ask you something. If you look at Bitcoin, for example, I like to ask Bitcoin bros this in the chats and Twitter spaces. I said, what is the highest amount of Bitcoin that has ever existed in the history of Bitcoin on the network? And they say, 18 million, 18.1. Some people say 21 billion because they don't know. Somebody says 21 million. Well, here's the answer. 184 billion on August 15th of 2010. That was the inflation bug. That's how much Bitcoin was on the network. Now, the question becomes, if Bitcoin's immutable, how are they able to change that? You know how? They had the most hash power. The people with the most hash power can make Bitcoin improvement plans, and they can roll back the chain. So that the idea that Bitcoin is completely immutable, for example, is completely false. And he might not even be talking about that, but I want to relate that to Bitcoin as well. It's another one of those lies that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Liberty Walker, big shout out to Liberty Walker. He's one of our ex Bitcoin miners. He's made a lot of money in the market, and we're so glad to have him as a community member. He actually, if you guys follow him on Twitter, he does weekly Twitter spaces about this. So he's addressed this. He says, the great thing about open source code is that anyone can clone anything. But a project is more than the code alone, it's the community. Just as Rex said, PulseBitcoin has an amazing community. Yeah.
Well, not only PulseBitcoin, it's let's say it copies the idea, but it's not a clone of the code. It's much better in every single way.
Yeah.
Like in terms of negative externalities, Bitcoin is way down the charts there. And PulseBitcoin is way up. So it is much different.
Well, what's the negative externality for ASIC and for PulseBitcoin? I mean, can anyone think of anything worth anything?
Well, you could also look at BSV, right? But if you look at clones, right, there's Bitcoin Cash, there's BSV. In the end, anything can be copied. But what's the value of those compared to Bitcoin?
Look at the quote after Liberty Walker from Small Town.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine Amazon is still selling books 14 years in.
Yeah.
That's what Bitcoin is right now, right? There's no upgrade. There's no addition.
I think you've got to be a bit of a visionary right now.
Until now.
It's like people are always scared of something different, right? But it's like we're already taking advantage of proof of stake. Sorry, proof of stake technology, but we're imitating proof of work. So we're taking the best of work. We're taking the best of both. We're not turning our back on proof of work. This is the first project where it's going, proof of work worked. So let's copy that, but put it in a proof of stake system. And I think that's what's going on. And it's hard for people to get their head around at the start, but it makes so much more sense.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. I'm done. Yeah.
So the number one argument that you guys would face from a Bitcoiner is saying that you're not securing the network. Okay, so they would say that the ASIC miners on Bitcoin, they exist to secure the network. And they say, well, PulseBitcoin, what are the ASICs doing? It's just a pump and dump. They're just blah, blah, blah. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. They are so archaic, right? They think that having a physical machine doing this work is going to be net beneficial for them. We've already listed all the issues with that. When PulseBitcoin, we're a layer 2 and we get to use Ethereum for the security in the transaction layer, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the people get paid the inflation, so to speak. That's very, very, very important too. So if you have a way to have somebody process the transactions, the layer 1 process the transactions, and the people get the benefit of that inflation, that's a far, far better way to do business. Now, what's really cool
is that who does that? We do for ourselves.
Yeah. And the other important thing here is, okay, so people would say, the Bitcoiners would say, well, look at Ethereum. Ethereum is now OFAC compliant. They're using the Treasury Department's blacklist to block potential, bad actors or even good actors with no due process. How cool is it going to be when Pulse Bitcoin actually gets on Pulse Chain? It's going to be everything that Ethereum is without the intrusion of privacy.
And
So it's going to get
Brad,
better.
On that point, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pulse Chain, right? Oh, he's gone mute.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that point. So we haven't even mentioned that so far, right? So one thing a community member mentioned earlier, right, is if you buy ASIC token right now, right, and you put that into a mine and start mining Pulse Bitcoin, you've bought ASIC, right?
Right.
That's going to appreciate in value. Then essentially you're getting yield, which is Pulse Bitcoin. So you're getting two tokens down the Ethereum network in the bear market. When Pulse Chain comes out, you're going to get a copy of your ASIC miners on the Pulse Chain network, because it is a copy of the hard fork of the proof of stake Ethereum network, and you're getting Pulse Bitcoin. So you're getting 4 tokens for the price of one. That's even better than, I don't want to say it, but it's even better than some of the other products you're getting hard forked.
It makes complete sense. You're getting the appreciation value of both of them. We've had this conversation a lot in the chat room. People trying to figure out they're getting it. People are making it too complicated, right? Trying to figure out this ratio. Well, if I buy, but I can buy more from my $1,000 or $10,000. I can buy more Pulse Bitcoin. If I just buy Pulse Bitcoin instead of mining it, I'll get less Pulse Bitcoin. If I buy ASIC and I start mining it, but they're not thinking it through. And it's just look at the simple math of when Pulse Chain launches, what you're getting in full. And even if Pulse Chain doesn't launch, even though you're going to get a little less Pulse Bitcoin if you put all the money into ASIC and start mining, you're getting both the assets. So look at the appreciation of both the assets. It's get out of the old mentality of buying a piece of metal that's a goodwill depreciation asset on a balance sheet. It doesn't exist anymore. Now your miner is going to appreciate, it seems, in value, and you've got both of them. But you're right, man. When Pulse Chain comes out, you're getting both sides of it, and it's a whole nother ball game. Now it's amazing what's going to happen. I'm getting goosebumps. Just look at my. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you what's going to happen. I'm seeing a pump of money going into it just for that reason alone.
And whatever you might see in this community or other communities about any FUD towards this community, towards Hex, a lot of us are Hexicans, right? I'm a loyal Hexican. I always will be. Some people in this community are disillusioned with Hex. That's fine, but what we say is we are launching on Ethereum. We have launched on Ethereum. We're aiming to the stars with Ethereum, right? We want Pulse Chain to be great. We really do. A lot of us invest a lot of money in that. We think it's gonna be great. It's gonna improve our block time. We're so bullish on Pulse Chain, and it's unfortunate that RH has gone against us and said that he thinks that we're somehow doing some damage to his community. Whatever, we're not bothered by it. We're going to keep growing. We're actually now reaching out to other communities. We got no room for drama here. We just want to move on and develop some good stuff and onboard new people into this community. And Pulse Chain is going to be a blessing for us. We actually believe we're going to bring so much economic energy to Pulse Chain. So I think a lot of Hexicans that are a bit salty about us launching this thing, you can be salty with us. I understand your feelings that we're taking economic energy away from Hex, but that's really not what we're about. We are all about onboarding new people, and I think you'll see that as time comes on. I think the net benefit from this project will vastly benefit Pulse Chain in the long run. And
this is one of the greatest onboarding tools for the Pulse Chain community, including Hex as a savings tool that is available in the market today. Period. End of story.
Yeah, we have no enemies here. We're looking so much more than this. We're going up against Bitcoin, right? That's our main target. That's what we're doing here. We're going up against Pulse Dogecoin. We're going up against Dogecoin. We're trying to do a better version of the old coins. We're not here to fight Hex. We're not here to fight any of that stuff. We're blessed by the opportunity of Pulse Chain, and that's simple as that.
I think the one thing we got to focus. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Brian.
No, please, Sean, please.
What I was going to mention is that, the focus here is immutability. We're all here into code we're interacting with on our own. There's no middlemen. That's the difference between Bitcoin and PulseBitcoin. You know, it has cheaper transactions, faster transactions, inclusive mining, scarce supply. But in the end, we're all just dealing with immutable finished product on the market. It's not like we're looking for a team to finish anything. We don't need any other work to happen other than everyone to just sit on their ASIC. We can all just stop streaming and talking about it, and it would continue on. And so that's the only point I wanted to make. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, one message that I would send out to you guys, and one message that I'm sure I'll have to send out to my community too, is that I think Richard, he does exactly what he's supposed to do with his product. There is competition in crypto, and he is a founder that wants to do everything in the benefit of his project. Now, if he sees these sorts of things popping up, if he sees these sorts of threats as a founder, you know, he's going to take the position, because I think he understands the metrics. He understands the competition. It's competition to him. So he's going to treat it like that. I don't blame the man for doing that. And I think a lot of people took it really, really personally, which I understand. But ultimately, here's the thing. It's the open market. Either you guys succeed or fail. It boils down to that. You take the actions to be successful, or you don't. So it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. If it checks the mark, if the code's right, if it's immutable, no admin keys, you know, if you guys are doing all the right things, then it's left up to the market at that point. So I try not to take things too personally from him, because I understand where he's coming from. There's a spectrum of aggressiveness when it comes to those reactions, and he's definitely on one end of that spectrum. But I can't blame the man, because this is attention competition, and that's what we have.
Very much so, because you know what Hex was built as, right?
Yep.
Bitcoin.
Yep. And it used to be called Bitcoin Hex.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. We are offering the olive branch of peace here. What we're trying to do here is we are not trying to fight these guys.
Not at all. This is Burger King next to McDonald's next to Wendy's. This is horizontal. Like he talks.
Essentially, we want everyone to buy burgers, right?
We're doing everything he's been talking about.
Well, I'm sure people
laid out.
People aren't going to be upset when Pulse Chain gets forked, and a large amount of that volume on PulseX has to do with ASIC and PulseBitcoin.
A huge amount is going to come.
Yeah. So.
Sean, anything to mention before we wrap this up?
Make sure everyone is following our special guest Vinluck, Brandon on Twitter. Can
one of our admins please post Brandon's YouTube channel in the live chat?
I believe it's
and get your Pulse Bitcoin gear at PulseBitcoin.store.
Oh of course. Vinluck
at R2R, Sean. At R2R.
Vinluck's also got a Pulse Bitcoin store. So you can actually buy Pulse Bitcoin if you want to have the swag. You know, you can buy it off there. So that's cool. Check that out. But got
it. Yeah,
we'll be here every week. We'll be here next week.
One
John,
one message to everyone that's listening and in the chat. We've all got to engage as a community, right? Like the Hex community engaged, man. They did great. We've got to engage. Every good community has got to engage. I think everyone needs to realize the importance of this disruption. I lived it in the 90s with the internet, and this is happening now. I really truly believe that we're entering into a super cycle. I posted earlier. Actually, CZ from Binance posted 43% of all the main companies have already started major adoption of blockchain into their ecosystems. And you just look at my Twitter feed, you'll see it. And I'm telling you, I really do believe we've got, even though we're going to have a little bit of an economic situation this year, possibly, we've got potentially a global super cycle coming in Main Street adoption. And, we're all in the ecosystem that's going to probably benefit the most from it. And what we got to do, though, regarding the ASIC token is get out, find those 15 or 20 mining companies that are hardware mining now and just start calling them. Everyone just get on the phone and just start calling the investor relations guy or girl or the CEO or somebody and ask them if they know about the upgrade and see where that goes. Just do whatever you can do to try to help. There are people all around Desi in India. There are people everywhere in London, in Europe, in America, trying to figure out ways to do marketing, to get adoption go. This is something that will systematically, I think, do it on a different scale, because this is more of an institutional level, right? Because there are big companies that are in trouble. Even just recently, BlackRock is putting like $15 million into bankrupt Core Scientific. Why? It's good money to bad, right? Why are they doing it? Right? You can just Google all of the news. You can search it yourself. You can see it. And at the end of the day, as a community, if we start hitting the bigger level of what this disruption really is, obviously we'll pump our bags, but we'll help that adoption along the way. Just pick up the phone and just start making phone calls and just start calling them and asking all those CEOs if they know about this upgrade.
100%.
I wanted to say something too, and this is actually for your community, and I'm going to give you some clarifications. I created a foundational crypto course. It's at mycryptoclassroom.com. Now, I want to say this. This is not a funnel. This is not me trying to shill my project. This is project agnostic. It doesn't talk about anything except the basics of crypto. So you go to mycryptoclassroom.com. It's completely free. You can share it with anybody. I've got the first module posted. It's about an hour's worth of work. There's quizzes, there's PDFs, all that sort of thing. You can take this and give it to anybody that you know, and you don't have to be worried about it shilling anything. It's not shilling us. It's not shilling anything. It just talks about crypto. So if you have somebody that's like, what's this crypto thing all about? Take this link, give it to them. It's a professional. It's very professionally made. Quizzes, documents, all that. Use it. Anybody in your community can use it for free.
Is that classroom with 2 S's, right? I've got the dyslexia.
You're missing an O there.
Yeah.
Is that app that My Crypto Classroom?
There you go. We'll show that.
It'll redirect
the right
to. Yep. mycryptoclassroom.com will redirect as well.
Cool.
Copy that.
So, Sean, do you want to load out a quick one of your tutorial videos before we head out here?
Yeah, I have a simple one that my wifey and I made. I could throw this one up.
And then we'll come back and
sounds good.
In a cold bear market, an innovation arises.
For the fighters and the climbers. For those that want and choose to believe. Don't worry about the things you can't control. Focus on the things that you can. Immutable code is all you need.
PulseBitcoin. Faster, non-polluting, energy efficient, highly scalable, and DeFi compatible.
Welcome to your destiny, ASIC miner.
Start your journey to generational wealth and hold on for the ride. Acquire PLSB and ASIC on CowSwap. Go to USDCPLSB.com and USDCASIC.com, featuring MEV bot protection, the most flexible way to DEX trade.
Oh, I love that move. But yeah, to wrap things up, I just want to say thank you so much for Brandon coming on. Thank you so much for Vin Luck, man. We love you guys. And thank you so much for the buyers, the holders, the miners, the onboarders. Let's keep the momentum up, guys. Let's keep onboarding. Let's keep going forward. Yeah, I think we're doing amazing things. This is a bear market. These statistics we have are fantastic. It's all reliant on you. You know, we've got 5,000 token holders now. We've just crossed the 5,000 token holders in PLSB. Don't rest on your laurels. Don't sit back and just look at that chart and drop into the chat. It's all about going out there, talking at parties about Pulse Bitcoin, getting mass adoption. That's what this is all about. If you want to see that price keep going up, then you have to go out there and work your ass off, because this is all community led. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah, I want to say this too, and I say this every stream. These guys did not pay me to talk about this. I want to make that very, very clear. I don't take money from anybody to talk about things. I want to let you guys know that in chat.
Yeah, 100% no shenanigans policy. None of us have taken any money from any of this. This is just, I welcome the SEC. The SEC can come and look at us, and we are cleaner than a whistle. You know, cleaner than a whistle. There's nothing to find here. You know.
Exactly. You know, we're not meant to be a security in any way. And you can find the no shenanigans policy at pulsebitcoin.com. Yeah. Just go to learn. A lot of details in there. Everyone, I highly recommend that you read the white paper. It's 25 pages long, and it goes into a lot of detail about what the project is. So,
and I did a video on the white paper as well, just to let you guys know if you guys need help. We broke it down. Yeah.
It was a couple months ago. I did see that. Yeah, great video. Brandon.
Yeah, and I would just direct people, if you want to know more information, we've got the description below. You've got the Telegram group there, which has been amazing for our community. Pepe started that off, and you can pretty much go into the Telegram chat and you can find someone that you can talk to 24 hours a day, and that's a real person. There's no official affiliation. Just someone who's bought this thing and is passionate about this. They've seen their money go up and they want to see it keep going up. So you can jump in there anytime. All the links are down there. If you want to donate, your links there. Again, thank you so much for Brandon. Thank you so much for Vinluck. We hope to see you guys again. And let's play the outro. Sean, do you want to load up the outro? Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And he's tried. Let's try again.
Less money at their disposal. The latest inflation's up.
Life is hard, with rising inflation and a soaring cost of living. Bitcoin was a way to escape this, but now Bitcoin is dying. When Bitcoin started, you could use a laptop to mine it with just a few clicks. Now, Bitcoin has been hijacked by big money, making it impossible for the average user to make life-changing wealth. It's slow, it's outdated, and expensive. The world needs a better Bitcoin. The future is here, and the future is Pulse Bitcoin. Faster, more secure, non-polluting, and DeFi compatible. Old Bitcoin mining requires expensive mining rigs and costly energy bills, making it almost pointless. With Pulse Bitcoin, you can software mine by staking your ASIC tokens, utilizing proof-of-stake technology on the Ethereum network. It's so easy to participate. Simply buy the ASIC token on Uniswap, then go to pulsebitcoin.app and set them to mine for 30 days. You'll earn 7.5% of the token amount in Pulse Bitcoin every 30 days. Don't want to mine? Easy. Simply buy Pulse Bitcoin on the open market and hold it as a powerful store of value. You are so early. This ecosystem is packed with tokenomics designed to drive the price up. Pay your future self by participating in the most aggressive, price-appreciating ecosystem in existence. A decentralized peer-to-peer Bitcoin, the way crypto was always meant to be. Go to pulsebitcoin.com. It's time for a better Bitcoin. It's time to make life-changing wealth.